Tonight on CTV News at 6. This North Bay complex needs plenty of repairs.
I filled out for the emergency housing.
Now tenants are going to have to find somewhere else to live. The shelter has so many pets.
We're over capacity. Literally, they're living in our reception area of our vet clinic.
Officials at PetSave in Greater Sudbury say more people need to step up. And World Suicide Prevention Day.
Within our region, the statistics show that there's a higher incidence of suicide within Northern Ontario in the Sudbury and Manitoulin regions.
A day devoted to saving lives and raising awareness.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening and glad you could be with us on this Friday, September 5th. It started as a traffic stop and turned into an $85,000 drug bust for North Bay Police. A 48-year-old man was stopped in the Marshall Avenue area around midnight yesterday. Police found cash and a small amount of fentanyl. They executed a search warrant for his residence and found nearly 600 grams of illicit drugs, as well as pellet guns, conducted energy weapons, cash, and other items. The 48-year-old is facing 4 charges, including possession for the purpose of trafficking. A 78-year-old man from Plummer Additional Township is facing charges for threatening to shoot township staff and council. According to the OPP, the township staff and council members had received threats via text message on August 29th. The investigation determined they came from Copper Bay Road. Police say it had to do with a years-long dispute over building permits. The senior has been released with a court date next month in Elliott Lake. A new advisory panel is taking shape in Greater Sudbury that will build on the municipality's relationship with local Indigenous communities. CTV's Angela Gemmell has more.
The city already has a good relationship with First Nation neighbors and other Indigenous partners. The mayor just wants to make it permanent.
How do we more formalize these discussions so that our staff are more aware as well, right? And the community can see what we're trying to work together on.
A motion next week calls for the creation of an Indigenous advisory panel. Lefebvre says he wants the group to continue long after this council is gone.
Today, we have a group of individuals that want to see this happen, and that's why we were having discussions before. But now, how do we make this permanent? And that's why I think it's having a growing Indigenous population in Greater Sudbury and in the area. I think there's a lot of potential to address some of the issues and some of the potential outcomes that we can look that are positives for everybody.
The inception for the panel came 4 years ago, along with the idea of an Indigenous relations coordinator, both meant to advance reconciliation efforts and build engagement with Indigenous communities. Christian Naponce has held that position for the past 2 years and would be the city staff rep on the panel. It would include representation from Atikameksheng Anishinaabe, Wanapitei First Nation, as well as local Indigenous organizations and other community members.
Just so that we have a fulsome representation of different age groups and different, socioeconomic groups and things like that, so that the input that they give and the advice they give and the guidance they give is done to the best of our ability.
The panel also responds to calls to action from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which appeals to one community member interested in joining.
I work in the field, I've lived in the shoes, and I've also grew up in the neighborhood. You know, there is a vested interest in the future involvement of Indigenous people within the region.
The Indigenous Advisory Panel would have a maximum of 12 members and meet 4 times a year. If approved, Mayor Lefebvre hopes to have the group in place by October. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Residents of a low-income independent living complex in North Bay South End could be forced out as early as next year. CTV's Eric Tashner has that story.
So this window cannot be open.
Natalie Keating has lived at Ferris Massey Drive, West Wind's Village complex for 7 years. Last week, she received an eviction notice.
Well, I filled out for the emergency housing.
In March, the Physically Handicapped Adults Rehabilitation Association, or FARA, started the Save Massey Drive campaign, seeking millions to renovate the units. There has been a lot of water damage over the years, and the heating systems also need to be upgraded.
I had a plug sink for a month, and it went moldy, and it took them almost 3 days to unplug it.
At the time, FARA officials were optimistic that the money would flow in from the community or different levels of government. But the organization has only been able to generate about 15% of the needed $8.4 million.
It remains part of the social housing fabric of our community. Social housing is needed not only here, but across all the communities.
The buildings provide different rental options, including geared to income rent, subsidized rent, market rent, and numerous units are designated for assisted living. Currently, about 80 people live in 40 of the 48 units.
FARA's interest remains not rebuild, repair Massey, and rebuilding starting from scratch is not something that's under consideration by FARA at this time.
The organization has provided services in North Bay and surrounding area for more than 50 years. The N13 notice allows the group to legally evict tenants to allow repairs to be done to the units. FARA is pushing all levels of government for immediate financial aid.
We continue to advocate and work with all of our community partners and government organizations for that intention.
As for residents like Keating, they are worried that they won't have a roof over their head come early next year.
It's very frustrating. It's gross.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
And ambulance service in North Bay is getting a boost in funding from the province. Nipissing MPP Vic Fideli made the announcement today in a news release saying the area would get nearly $8 million from the Land Ambulance Service Grant, a 15% increase over last year. The increase works out to about $1 million in additional funding. The money will be used to improve critical care for those who need it in an emergency. Cold, windy, and rain. What is the call for tomorrow, Saturday? To tell us more, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman. Rick.
Tony, cold? Cool, yes, but don't worry, it'll get colder. You'll experience cold. We'll have this conversation in January and February. Then you can come back and say, yes, Rick, it is cold. Our systems map in northeastern Ontario. Lots of wind activity, of course, and again, the precipitation. The only wind warning that we have right now issued by Environment Canada is for Parry Sound. So some gusting winds, but diminishing by later on this evening. We'll get into our current temperatures and, of course, our 7-day forecast. Tony, cool outside, not cold yet, but that's coming. Back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. Chinese culture will be celebrated in Greater Sudbury this weekend at the 3rd annual Moon Festival. In Chinese culture, the Moon Festival is held around the autumnal equinox and celebrates harvest and the full moon. The Sudbury event will include traditional entertainment like Chinese dancing and music, plus food vendors and family-friendly activities. The event is organized by the Chinese Association of Greater Sudbury and will take place tomorrow from 10 to 4 at the Grace Hartman Amphitheatre in Bell Park. CTV's Angela Gemmel is one of the MCs for the day. Economic supports still to come on CTV News at 6. The Prime Minister announces measures to move things forward. Right now, though, let's head to North Bay. There's a live webcam of Lake Nipissing, courtesy of the City of North Bay. It's 13 degrees. We're back after this commercial break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The Prime Minister is forging ahead with new measures he says will support the Canadian economy in the face of the trade war with the United States. CTV's Abigail Beeman takes us through what we know so far.
We will build big, build bold, build Canadian.
Touring a plant in the Greater Toronto area, the Prime Minister laid out Ottawa's plans to help Canadian industries in the face of a trade war, including help for those impacted by tariffs with a new $5 billion fund and specific help for the canola sector, hard hit by Chinese tariffs last month.
What will be important here is to see how the federal government and provincial governments work with the business community to really identify what those needs are, support them, and work closely with labor organizations and the workers themselves.
And the Prime Minister is pausing the 2026 electric vehicle target while reviewing the overall mandate.
He's finally admitted that the Conservatives were right, just like we were right on the carbon tax. But he's doing a clumsy retreat, saying that he's going to delay this mandate.
Mark Carney also promising more federal action for the Buy Canadian movement.
The government's introducing a new comprehensive Buy Canadian policy that will move from best efforts to buy Canadian to a clear obligation to do so.
No word on what that means for the deal to buy American F-35 fighter jets, still under review by the government, while a new climate competitiveness strategy was announced as coming soon.
I'm glad to hear that we are finally hearing a little bit about climate change from the new Prime Minister, who has been, eerily silent on this issue.
In addition to a new climate strategy, the Prime Minister also promised a new defense strategy to support defense spending he described as, quote, enormous, and all this against the backdrop of a looming fall budget to explain how all the investment and austerity will be balanced. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
And with possible job losses in Sault Ste. Marie because of the ongoing trade war, City Council is looking at unique options to keep residents employed. The bid to get a national wildfire center being one. Another is a munitions production factory. A resolution passed Monday night to direct city staff to do a feasibility study that would consider Sault Ste. Marie as a location for Canadian defense production and manufacturing. Corey Gardy, the councillor who pitched the idea, says such a facility will focus on steel-intensive products to build on the capabilities at Algoma Steel.
What I'm trying to do is to put the community in a space where we can capitalize on an initiative that is going to occur globally with most developed countries, because there is a need. And, quite clearly, Prime Minister Carney has talked about this as, a national security issue, being able to produce your own defense equipment and munitions and the like.
Not all at council were thrilled at the idea of getting into the munitions business, leaving Gardy to make clear he's doing this for economic reasons and not as a warmonger. The city of Timmins will begin accessibility improvements Monday at the main entrance of the McIntyre Community Centre, but not everyone is happy with the timing. CTV's Lydia Chubak has those details.
The McIntyre Community Centre was established during the Great Depression, a time when construction consideration was not given to people who live with disabilities. On Monday, the City of Timmins will begin work to upgrade the Heritage Building's front entranceway. In a news release to the media, the city explains the exterior stairs will be replaced and the main entrance ramp will be upgraded to meet the current Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act requirements, including improvements to the ramp slope, width, handrails, and landing design. One organization that calls this community center home is the Timmins Rock Junior A Hockey Club. Its president, Ted Gooch, posted to the club's Facebook page yesterday what it calls an official notice of the club's concerns over the timing of the construction. Gooch wrote the request for tender closed on June 25th, but the contractor was only awarded the contract on August 5th. Why the delay? And he urges the city to postpone work until spring for a number of reasons, including loss of revenue. CTV News requested an interview today with Gooch, but he said he wasn't sure if he'd be interested in an on-air interview. CTV News also requested an interview with the City of Timmins, but the communications coordinator told us no one, including the mayor, was available for comment. The media release says arena access will be available through the side parking lot and rear doors. The closure of the main entranceway also means the Timmins Fire Department has had to reduce arena capacity by 461 persons, which Gooch says also puts a dent in the Rock's revenue. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
The Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities continues its push for improvements to Highways 11 and 17. Last month, Phenom sent out a statement asking the federal government to include the proposed highway improvements on the major projects list to fast-track the widening and twinning of sections of the two roadways. Today, Phenom officials are asking Premier Doug Ford to include the projects in his submission to the federal government's MPO list. Phenom maintains these road projects should be considered a priority because of the Ring of Fire development. Library use in Kirkland Lake is on hold for the moment. The Tech Centennial Library posting over its social media feeds yesterday that it is temporarily closed until further notice. No word on why, but it'll include both the children's and adult departments, and that updates will be forthcoming. Back now for a check on your current conditions with Rick. So is it still cool out there?
It is cool. It will be cooler for this evening, Tony, and of course it'll start to perk up weather-wise with some warmer temperatures by early next week. Our forecast radar from today, that system moving easterly, and of course remnants of precipitation over the course of the next couple of days. Chance of showers on Saturday and Sunday. We'll get into that 7-day forecast, but first our current temperatures. Let's have a look and see what's happening in Moosonee this hour. 12 degrees, cloud cover. Cochrane and Timmins, some precipitation at 10 and 9. Kapuskasing 9 with the clouds as well. Meanwhile, Chapleau 7 degrees with precipitation. Wawa some sun and cloud. Sault Ste. Marie overcast at 11 this hour. Parry Sound 15, some sun and cloud. Moving on over to North Bay, mainly cloudy. 13, 15 in Temiskaming Shores, and Kirkland Lake 13. Sun and cloud. Greater Sudbury 14, some sun and cloud. 14 Espanola. Elliott Lake 12 with the precipitation, and Gore Bay at 15, some sunshine. That'll change. Chance of showers, some cooler temperatures, and again, the winds will let up by later on this evening. Tony, back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. Money for the mining sector next on CTV News at 6. The federal government is providing $1 million for mining innovation. And some apprentices can't get certified because of a backlog at testing centers. A 4-year post-secondary degree could cost more than $100,000, and that cost is only going up. As CTV's Stephanie Seacoast tells us, that is some parents encouraging their kids to go into the trades.
University is not cheap, and the cost is only going to keep climbing, which has this parent considering other options for her children.
As time has kind of evolved, I think that we're leaning more towards trades and entrepreneurship. I feel like post-secondary education, does the cost and the value of the degree, do they equate like they used to? Like even for ourselves, we only just finished paying off our student loans a few years ago.
According to a recent survey by Embark, a company specializing in education savings, more than half of Canadian parents say they won't be able to afford the rising costs.
One of the things that we also discovered is the current geopolitical landscape had made parents very conservative about starting, for example, a savings account for post-secondary education. We call that the RESP.
Embark projects by 2042, the average cost of a 4-year university education could go up by 36% in Canada when you factor in tuition, housing, food, and other expenses. Embark's data shows the national average would be around $137,000. It's even higher in Nova Scotia, where the overall cost is pegged around $170,000. That's up almost 48% compared to 2025. In New Brunswick, the cost is forecast to hit $161,000, up by 44%. And on Prince Edward Island, it's expected to cost more than $139,000, up 38%. Embark says it's never too late to start saving.
It's going to make a big difference for their post-secondary education. And you can save as little as, $5 a week, $10 a month, etc. And start building as you can afford or feel comfortable.
Stephanie Seacoast, CTV News, Halifax.
The federal government announced a $1 million investment to support mining innovation in the north today. As CTV's Alana Everson explains, the money will help a Sudbury College expand research and training with mining companies.
Sudbury MP Vivian Lapointe says the federal government is making investments to future-proof the workforce. The money will also help local businesses adopt new technologies through partnerships with the Centre for Smart Mining at Cambrian College.
This allows our mining companies, or small mining companies, to really adapt and adopt new technologies that are happening in the mining sector. And then it helps students gain and learn those skills, and that addresses the workforce labor that we hear so much about, skilled labor.
Sandvik Mining is a partner with the Centre for Smart Mining, and students have developed prototypes to improve safety and efficiency.
It gives them the opportunity to work on something and work with global partners and produce something that we can use afterwards before they get into the workforce. They're networking, and we're also networking with the next generation of employees.
For Sudbury, for Northern Ontario, and for Canada, it's indispensable to have a place like this where companies can get the skills, get the talent, get the equipment to make them more innovative, to tackle the challenges we need them to do to keep moving the mining sector forward.
Eric Clement is a third-year mechanical engineering technology student and values the opportunity to work on electric vehicle innovation.
My family's been working in mining for 2 generations now, if not longer, and being able to validate electric vehicle designs in a sustainable way, as well as to promote sustainability in the mining sector, is very important to me.
The funding will help the Centre for Smart Mining work with 145 small to medium-sized companies in Northern Ontario in the areas of automation, AI, and electric vehicle development. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Once students graduate from trades programs, they will deal with Skilled Trades Ontario, a provincial agency that allows apprentices to become fully certified in their trade. But the Sudbury MPP says there aren't enough centres. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
There are hundreds of career opportunities in trades. However, some students are finding it difficult to complete their Northern Ontario apprenticeships.
We need to have a situation where there are more locations in the north for people in the north to take their training in these tests.
I have some apprentices in the shop in Timmins right now that are very discouraged. They may just leave the trade, period, because if they cannot get past the last portion of their apprenticeship.
There are 2 testing centres in Northern Ontario, one in Thunder Bay and the other in Sudbury. But apprentices in Sudbury say they have to drive to Mississauga to do the test because the waitlist in Sudbury is months long.
I have to write an exam, Red Seal, which is 310T, to become a full mechanic. And it's been being a really inconvenient because I have to go to down south for it.
It's just more difficult than it needs to be. Like, I have to go out of town to write my test again and spend even more money than I already have to. Take time off work for writing my test, and it's just difficult.
It seems every time I call them, there's not really any answers for me, or I get conflicting answers.
We reached out to Skilled Trades Ontario and the Ministry of Labour, Immigration Training and Skills Development for a comment on the delays faced by apprentices, but we did not receive a response by deadline. Meanwhile, Jamie West is calling on the provincial government to make trade pathways more accessible in the north.
We are Northern Ontario and Sudbury, but we're nothing compared to Thunder Bay, right? And so we need to have Kirkland Lake needs one, South Porcupine needs one, Sault Ste. Marie needs one. We need to be able to have testing centers close to where people live. And that shows that commitment that we really do want people to get into these fields and to fill these really important jobs.
The waiting period for exams in Sudbury is impacting more than just mechanics. It's delaying all trades that require Red Seal certifications, credentials that are needed to no longer be considered a student and to earn more money. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
There's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
It's the weekend. Here we go, Tony. Here's your forecast. Last week it was beautiful. You had sunshine for a couple of days. Different story this time around. Let's check out our forecast radar. The system moving through northeastern Ontario, heading to Quebec. We'll get the remnants on the weekend, chance of showers, as I've been saying for the last, well, since 5 o'clock. Of course, we had all kinds of rain and some nasty winds earlier. The winds will diminish by late this evening, so again, no worries there. Okay, overnight, Greater Sudbury, chance of showers, windy. Sault Ste. Marie, showers and windy. Pretty well copy and paste throughout. Timmins, more of the same. Showers and windy. Temiskaming Shores and North Bay, showers and windy as well. Moosonee, showers and windy, dropping down to 6. Caphurst, more of the same, showers and windy. Wawa, Gore Bay, and Parry Sound, all showers and windy in the forecast. Now your 7-day outlook, Sudbury and Nickel Belt. Here we go. Chance of showers for a couple of days. 30%, 40%, and 30% by Monday. Then it warms up to 18 Tuesday, some sun and cloud. Back to the wet stuff. Chance of showers on Wednesday at 15. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma. Chance of showers for a couple of days, 14, 15. Beautiful sunshine Monday at 19. Chance of showers again on Tuesday at 19, dropping down to 17 with the cloud Wednesday. Thursday, some sun and clouds, 17. I'm trying to be positive here, Tony, with, some sunny breaks in the forecast for some, but not here. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, you'll have to wait till next Thursday to get any kind of sunshine. You've got no less than 5 consecutive days, chance of showers, 13, 10, 15, 16, 11 for Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. 15 on Thursday, sun and cloud. You might get a sunny break or two come next Friday as well. But again, these temperatures below normal, which is 19 for this time of the year. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, cloud cover for tomorrow. Chance of showers for a couple of days. 12, 17, your daytime highs. Tuesday, 19 with the cloud. Wednesday, chance of showers at 14, then 15 again. Thursday, sun and cloud. So again, bear with me. Once you get through a couple of days, you'll have to wait your turn to get your dose of sunshine by early next week, and perhaps even some warmer temperatures. And again, struggling to at least get the normal for this time of the year. After all, it is early September. Here we go for North Bay, West Nipissing. Chance of showers at 40%, 17 and 15, the daytime highs for the weekend. Monday, chance of showers at 18. All the way up to 22 Tuesday, some sun and cloud. Wednesday, chance of showers. And Thursday, 16. So again, below normal, but you'll get some sunshine. But you'll have to wait just a couple of days in North Bay and West Nipissing. Let's have a look at our pick of the day. It's a heron in flight. Joseph Coutu, North Shore, Lake Huron, came up with this dazzling picture. And I just love the birds in flight. Joseph, thank you so much, or should that be Joseph? I appreciate that. More picks coming your way Monday. Stick around. Tony has more news after the break.
World Suicide Prevention Day is next Wednesday, a global day dedicated to saving lives and raising awareness. CTV's Amanda Hicks has more on how some organizations in the North are preparing to raise more awareness.
World Suicide Prevention Day falls on September 10th. The Suicide Safer Network, which covers Sudbury and Manitoulin, is offering an event this weekend and will offer various free resources next week. Officials say recognizing the day is important, with 12 people dying in Canada every day by suicide.
Within our region, the statistics show that there's a higher incidence of suicide within Northern Ontario in the Sudbury and Manitoulin regions. And so it's important for our community to make sure that we're aware and we have the education so that as a community we can support one another.
The Canadian Mental Health Association, North Bay and District will be offering an 8-week support group for suicide grief and a suicide alertness workshop called Safe Talk. The support group provides a safe, non-judgmental and compassionate space for people who have lost someone to suicide. The Safe Talk workshop runs half a day to teach those 18 and up the signs to watch out for. Both services are free with limited spots available.
Having that prevention and post-vention support to assist with gaining the tools and training in order to assist with the prevention intervention if someone's having thoughts of suicide. And on the other end, post-vention support being accessible to community members who have experienced a loss is very important to help them navigate that unique grief journey.
Those kinds of trainings are very important because one, it reduces the stigma associated to suicide, but also it just helps to bolster our community to make it that we are able to act if ever there's someone within our community that is struggling and needs some support.
Registrations are now open for the free CMHA services in North Bay. In Sudbury, a family-friendly event will be held from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow here at the new Sudbury Centre to mark World Suicide Prevention Day. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
If you or someone you know needs help, you can access the Suicide Crisis Helpline by dialing 988 or visit 988.ca. The Planet Youth Nipissing initiative run by the North Bay Parry Sound District Health Unit got a $750,000 funding bump today. The Planet Youth Initiative is based on the internationally renowned Icelandic model for preventing substance abuse that saw drug and alcohol usage drop from roughly half of all young people in Iceland to just 5% in 2023. The money is key to building and expanding the program with goals of this kind of success in North Bay.
Well, we often talk about problems in our society, and we say, if only we could have started that, prevented that at a younger age. And Planet Youth is all about that. It's about taking action at a young age and trying to prevent unhealthy practices from evolving. And so $750,000 is aimed at a program that is in place in our community, is having an impact. They have established a baseline of use, of substance use, and so programs are in place and there's intervention that is occurring.
We have implemented about 44 initiatives focused on creating supportive environments for youth, so things like a Transit Pass pilot project, mental health coping kits, school and family engagement initiatives, so things that are helping youth feel connected and supported in the community.
The funding is part of the federal government's ongoing commitment to reducing illicit drug use across the country. The need for animal fosters continues to grow across the north, and an organization in Sudbury says it's in trouble. And if more people don't sign up to help, it won't be able to help more animals this fall or winter. CTV's Lindsay Alick explains.
Pet Save and Lively currently has over 400 cats, kittens, dogs, and puppies, despite having 200 foster parents on any given day.
We're over capacity. Literally, they're living in our reception area of our vet clinic. They're in our lobby, on our main floor, and we're in big trouble.
Passad says there are 3 options when it comes to fostering, including picking up a pet for just a day.
We also have weekend fostering, which is great for those busy families who have a busy life all week but really want to enjoy a pet. The other fostering that we do is also the long-term fosters, those who take our fosters and keep them until they found a home, which sometimes can go anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 months these days. Because of the severe overpopulation, long-term fostering is longer term than usual.
We actually adopted from Pet Save 12 years ago. Unfortunately, this year we had to put him down. I have 3 small children that loved him to death, but we're a busy family. He works full time, so to have a pet right now full time is too much for us. So fostering is a perfect thing for us because I can now take a dog whenever it's good for us and give that dog a chance to have a happy life, you know, for those a little few days rather than being in a shelter.
Meantime, at the SPCA in Sudbury, officials there say they have 8 foster families with 34 animals in care at the center and foster homes. Right now, they are looking for more specialized help.
We're hoping to find people who can take on some of our medical cases, such as mothers who have just had kittens, puppies that need a little extra care, as well as someone who can take on the anxiety of some of our puppies that they're seeing in the center here, so that they can be more calm in the home and have a better time at finding an adoptable home.
Anything that comes up, the SPCA is very supportive, whether it's behavioral or like material needs. Like I've never wanted for food or training pads.
Whether it's Pet Save or the SPCA, both organizations say everything is supplied, so there is no out-of-pocket cost to fosters. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
A warning now from an Ontario couple whose search for a missing pet made them the target of scammers. What seemed like the promise of a happy ending gave way to a series of red flags and ultimately led them to call police. CTV's Alexandra Hollick has that story.
So the cat just ran outside and hopped over the fence.
It's been 5 days since Sushi the cat ran away from his Guelph Hermosa home.
He managed to get out because the doors got left open.
Like Sushi's fur, the search so far has been spotty.
We've seen him a couple times here and there, but we've always kind of come up short.
Owners Joshua Langdon and Alexa Romat say they took their search to social media for a better chance at finding their fur baby.
This guy messaged me saying that he found the cat and that and sent me a picture of him as well.
It kind of looked like him, but at the same time, not really.
The message came from an unknown email address demanding a reward of $250. The couple says they were initially convinced Sushi had been found.
We just kind of kept going back and forth messaging, but he was really adamant on wanting a reward. And he was essentially just putting up the cat for ransom, that if we didn't give him money and send him an e-transfer, then we wouldn't be able to get our cat back.
So they weighed their options.
We ended up calling the cops just to find out kind of what we could do.
Upon closer inspection of the photo, it actually appeared it was digitally altered, and then it was totally fake.
They just took the cat's head and just placed it on another cat,
sending Sushi's owners back to square one.
While we were chatting with the cop, actually, he showed up right by the gate. So right when he was there, we just kind of stopped everything trying to go get him, but right when he saw us, he just bolted the other way.
Romat says she's received similar scam messages since.
Out in Grimsby, they said that they saw somebody kick him at a gas station and then wanted us to go meet them at the gas station. Like, you're just preying on people's downfalls. It's not right.
And while the couple continues their search, they offer this advice.
If they're making you try and show up in weird spaces and demanding money and stuff like that, there's a very good chance that that's not real.
If somebody has found your cat or your pet, most likely they're not going to try to get money out of you. They're going to return your pet.
Police say no one has been arrested in this case at this point, but they urge anyone who may be a victim of fraud or a potential scam to reach out or report it to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News.
It's up for an Ontario award, still ahead on CTV News at 6. A lunchbox manufacturer in Sudbury is in the business spotlight. It's made in Ontario, and now a Sudbury company is also a nominee for the Manufacturer Spotlight Award. That shortlist was announced late last month by the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters. To talk more about El May Manufacturing Incorporated, the company's general manager, Kayla Nessler, now joins us. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So tell us about your company and also a nominee for the Spotlight Award.
Yeah, so our company started in 1956 from a former hard rock miner here in Sudbury named Leo May, founder, inventor of the lunchbox itself. He ran it for a number of years, and then his daughter Catherine ran it. And then in 2021, there was an ownership change, which is now with our current group that I work for, and I was general manager starting in 2022.
And your company is up for an award. What does that mean to you and those who work for it?
Yeah, so the Ontario Made Manufacturing Spotlight Award means a great deal to us. It's pretty important. It's a very cool spotlight to be getting right now, especially considering the economical times and the power of buying within country, within province. So just highlights that we are a Canadian-made brand and we're an Ontario-made brand, and that it's one that you should be supporting.
So everything from the aluminum is all from Ontario?
So we source parts from across country. We have resourcing that helps us with that, and then all of the manufacturing process is done here in Sudbury.
And the company has really evolved from the aluminum lunchbox for miners to different colors, and tell me about that evolution.
Yeah, so when I became general manager in 2022, I have the utmost respect for it being, a miner's lunchbox and where that history came from, and we'll still recognize that obviously, but I wanted to showcase that it's a utilitarian object in that you can use it for storage, an evening purse if you want to, you could use it for gifting, corporate awards, that kind of thing. So I was trying to showcase it has durability, not just in the physical sense, but across the creativity one as well.
I see the lunchbox has also gone across the pond. There are pictures, I think it was in Portugal. It was also in Hollywood?
Yeah, it was featured in Hollywood a few times on different shows. I think one of the recent ones that I've seen is Shameless. So if you know the show Shameless, it's been in Shameless. And definitely Portugal. There's been some pictures in Brazil. We've shipped to like New Zealand, Australia, Germany. So yeah, we do go worldwide with these boxes.
Let's get a little more serious. You touched upon it before about the economic climate, the Trump's tariffs. How difficult is it for your company to ship to the U.S. or abroad? Because you do have a customer base south of the border.
Yeah, so for our south of the border customers, we're trying to help them out as much as we can. Obviously, like we know that there's still a demand and need for our lunchbox in the stateside. So what we have been trying to do is, work with the U.S. customers on different shipping options that'll get it to them. We have put a disclaimer out to them saying, we apologize, but we're not 100% sure what, the extra shipping charges may look like for those customers, but that we are aware that it's happening and we'll do our best to work with them.
Kayla, thanks so much for your time and good luck in the award category.
Yes, thank you.
That was Kayla Nestler. She joined us today. And to learn more about LMA Manufacturing Incorporated, head to lmaminerslunchbox.ca. An iconic piece of cinema history has just sold for millions at auction.
You are unwise to lower your defenses.
Darth Vader's iconic red lightsaber went for more than $3.6 million. The lightsaber was one of several famous props sold at the live auction in Los Angeles. Michael Keaton's Batman suit and the whip used by Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones were also sold. Finish him. Jason Momoa looks forward to hearing that phrase, and a film from New Zealand is set to hit the big screen. David Daniel has those stories in the Hollywood Report.
You have to have fun with it.
Jason Momoa is getting his Street Fighter on. He'll play Blanca in a live-action adaptation of the classic video game franchise. The cast also includes Curtis 50 Cent Jackson as Balrog and David Dastmalchian as M. Bison. Street Fighter, the first film in a deal between Legendary Pictures and video game company Capcom, is due in IMAX and other theaters October 16th, 2026.
You want to rub your hands together like this? You can tell me what choir's about.
Singing? Yeah.
Batia! Batia! Tosafa! Okay, that's a work in progress.
A grieving mother draws on her Samoan roots, teaching elite, mostly white New Zealand private school students in Tina. She and her choir defy expectations, make connections, and discover what's possible when they encourage and celebrate each other. Tina is in theaters today. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Sudbury-based Magna Mining announced private shares today with a goal of raising $45 million. The mining firm that owns McCreedy West Mine, among others, announced a private sale of more than 18 million shares in the company. Shares will go for $2.40 until September 19th, with an additional 2 million shares potentially being made available, depending upon the success of the sale. The money will go to capital and administrative expenses. The company CEO said in an interview earlier this week that Magna has seen strong results from McCreedy West since buying it from KGHM International, extracting 3 million pounds of copper in the first quarter, adding that he's optimistic about deposits at the former Levack mine site. Tucked into the Prime Minister's announcement on tariff support was a decision to delay the introduction of a new EV quota. BNN Bloomberg's Marella Fernandez has more on that.
The new Liberal government is delaying the electric vehicle mandate of the old Liberal government. Under Justin Trudeau, the government called for 20% of passenger vehicles to be electric by next year. But the new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, says vehicle makers have enough on their plates dealing with tariffs imposed by Washington. Here's a look at how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar down to $72.19. West Texas Intermediate dropped $1.61 to $61.87. Western Canadian Select also down to $51.41. And the TSX hit another record close, gaining 134 points and ending the day above 29,000 for the first time. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
Here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold is up $40.95, closing the day at $35.8680 US an ounce. Silver is up 35 cents. Copper moved forward 6 cents, and nickel up 4 cents, ending at $6.86 US a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Saturday weather.
Well, Tony, I'm still thinking about possibly getting some Magna shares at 240. Hey, why not? You never know. Chance of showers throughout the northeast for tomorrow. Let's take a look and see what's happening right across the board. Greater Sudbury, chance of showers at 14, 13 in Timmins, and more of the same in Sault Ste. Marie, also at 14. So just one of those days. 17 in North Bay, chance of showers. Parry Sound, 17, chance of showers. And Temiskaming Shores, cloudy skies and 16, so at least there's one area, Tony, that's getting a bit of a break. 16 in cloud in Temiskaming Shores. Have a good weekend, Tony.
You too, Rick. Thanks so much. And it looked like a fun time in Englehart last night. Thursday marked the opening of the 116th annual Fall Fair. There was nail driving contest, jugglers, food vendors, and all sorts of fun put on by the Englehart and District Agricultural Society. It'll be running all weekend. You can find out more details on the Agricultural Society's Facebook page. And we leave you this evening with this song from Earth, Wind and Fire, September. Good night and have a great weekend.